Welcome to Shul.com. We are learning the Sefer Enlighten Our Eyes by Rabbi Goldschmidt. It's a book on Shemirat Enayim. We are on page 69, a people on its bedrock. Why did Hashem engineer Yosef's coming down to Mitzrayim ahead of the rest of his family? Answers the Zohar, so he would be a Merkava for the Shekhinah, a chariot for the divine presence, deep in the Ervat Haaretz, the most immoral part of the world, and somewhat neutralized the filth of the land's populace. His 22-year exile served as a real textbook when our nation was forged in the iron crucible of Egyptian slavery. Every Jew had the ability to stay pure, strengthened by the Kedusha of that HaTzadik Yesod Olam, who triumphed over all that Mitzrayim could throw at him. What noble deeds were necessary to achieve this noble mission of preparing the ground for the Jewish people's 200-year stay? None. Only a refrain from action. So what he's saying, Rabbi Goldschmidt here, is that by Yosef coming down first and not actually doing anything other than restraining himself, he set the bedrock of other men being able to restrict themselves from the same avon. Only a refrain from action. Yosef's never beholding the forbidden. And this paved the way for a whole nation to live in Mitzrayim for generations and not be totally swept away by the destructive forces of impurity. It's unbelievable. Just as their role model, Yosef HaTzadik, affected all Bnei Israel later in Mitzrayim and in all generations to follow, so too our heroes today, those loyalists from whatever age or background, raise the global Kedusha level as the echoes of their purity reverberate around the civilized world. To this very day, we draw strength from the blessings and rewards that the Torah lavishes on Yosef and his descendants, to the extent that Masechet Berachot tells us that if a person does a certain sigula with his hands, which we taught, you put the right thumb into the left hand, the left thumb into the right hand, that whole part of Masechet Berachot. And he says that he is descendant of Yosef HaTzadik. He's prevented and he's protected from any Ain Hara, and it prevents any Ain Hara from coming on him. That's just by mentioning it. And the Gemara asks, what do you mean? But let's say the guy is not even a descendant of Yosef. Let's say he comes from the tribe of Asher or tribe of Naphtali or Yehuda. What does that mean? Or he's a Kohen. So it doesn't matter. It goes to show you the level when a person attains Kiddusha. The magic of the Kiddusha is that it spreads everywhere. Hundreds of people, fortitude in Kiddusha, cutting across continents and spanning generations, can sometimes have its source in a single self-disciplined individual. Wow. What a blockbuster hidush he's telling you here. He's telling you that one guy protecting himself in the realm of Kedusha can carry thousands of people all across the world and earth in order to get them close to Kedusha. Who knows how many people will stand firm and strong as a result of our personal self-control. And we know this because and that there's only 600,000 primary souls, but we have millions of Jews today, which means other Jews are interconnected. And the interconnection can sometimes be known, it can be felt, sometimes not. And by doing this, suddenly he sends his power, his control of that he's doing on Shemirat Enayim to others all around them and helping them. Orienting ourselves towards screening out the inappropriate brings a strong presence of moral purity in the world, fortifying hundreds of other people out there. That's unbelievable. The 21st century. The uncompromised holiness of Yosef's eyes was unique and immortal. A solitary, homeless Jewish boy in a country uncontested for and unashamed of its deplorable lifestyles, very few of us, perhaps one or two in a whole generation, will ever have to endure the excruciating trials of Yosef HaTzadik. And yet, everyone can earn himself the title HaTzadik Yesod Olam. Everybody can get this title. Writes to Taharat HaKodesh in Ma'amar Shemirat Enayim chapter 2-4. How so? When one has for a second seen something enticing and is burning to look for just another millisecond, yet he stands firm, refusing to put his purity on the line, there and then he is crowned a HaTzadik Yesod Olam. He gets the crown at that moment, where in the corner of his eye he saw something, he had a desire to look at it again, he has that pleasure that's waiting, and he just says no. Maybe he is a teenager with an easily excited nature, which is normal, suddenly finding himself throbbing with a fiery passion and yet he holds fast onto the reins. Then, in those glorious moments, he becomes a Yosef HaTzadik. Even if others aren't going to recognize it, he's not going to get a reward when he comes to shul for mincha. No one's going to pat him on the back. He's not going to have a trophy or a medal of honor. Nothing. Only he knows and God knows. In real terms, though, in 21st century garb, he suppressed those raging sensations and turned his eyes and mind away. The Shekhinah comes to this great hero and lights up his soul with holiness. What's interesting is that the test in this generation is so much greater than it was in any other generation, because even 100 years ago, the things that we see today would have not been accepted by many, if not all, the religions. Whether it was Christianity, whether it was Islam, whether it was Judaism, whether it was even pagan religions, there was a level of modesty. Today, there's none. It almost doesn't exist at all. Rav Yitzchak Silberstein heard from the Taharat HaKodesh that simply turning one's eyes away from the unsuitable welcomes in the Shekhinah. This person's essence now comes close to Hashem, so to speak. Utilize this golden moment of et ratzon and whisper tefillah for all things one wants in life. This is hinted at in the word Yeshuat Hashem, that the help of Hashem comes swiftly like the blink of an eye. So what he's saying here is that just you want the Yeshuat of Hashem. What's the segula? Keheref ayin, with the blink of an eye. When you see something you're not supposed to see, right, quickly blink your eye. Then you have at that moment a time to make a tefillah of Yeshua of Hashem, and that's Yeshuat Hashem Keheref ayin, and it works. I remember Rabbi Mansour taught us that he gave us this over the segula to do it, and one guy in the shul, he was brazen enough and said, "Rabbi, it doesn't work." He said, "I did it, doesn't work." So Rabbi said, "What do you mean?" He said, "I was in Manhattan, I was on 34th Street, came a lady, not dressed properly, walked right by, and I turned away, I didn't look, and I made tefillah, and it didn't come true." The Rabbi said, "What'd you do after?" He goes, "I turned around." He said, "Yeah, you did." He said, "It doesn't work that way." He goes, "What do you think? You're gonna go, you can make the tefillah, that's it, you had the Yeshua, now you turn back to go look?" Sorry, it doesn't work that way. The guy was brazen. I don't know if he was joking when he did it to make everybody laugh, but it was funny. But there's a message in that too. Virtually trapped in a pitiless setting of a one-track minded society, those who guard their eyes are our world-class celebrities, unquestionable idealists, ever making purity a top priority. How frequently they unquestionably ignore society's norms and straitjacket themselves. Though born into a been there, done that era, remaining unfazed, even if it seems to be mission impossible. Besides bringing siyata dishmaya in that individual's whole avodah, he draws down onto himself a transcendent light of kedusha. An unfathomable holiness envelops the man who conquers his lust when it burns and races inside him. Though invisible to us in our physical world, it's there. Maybe science one day will be able to see this light and this glow and be able to explain it scientifically why not looking at something can have an effect. We did a discussion on the research over here in regards to light going through two slits and how the light would be separated afterwards in regards to cameras on the photons and protons looking at them. We discussed all this, how vision has an effect on reality. We can probably go into that in the future on a recording, which we didn't do on it. The Gemara in Sanhedrin 31b tells of a certain individual who overcame his flaming passion for a certain married woman, and how he walked away from the trickiest situation, not just unstained, but with a shining light of Kedusha now hovering above his head, visible to those around him. Nothing can ever eclipse the ethereal light created by every Yid who is striving towards Kedusha. Nothing was random when Yosef HaTzadik rose to the position of Mishneh LaMelech. What was now granted to him was all his own handiwork. No discomfort born was forgotten when his hour came. We Yidden know that this world is not a playground. We are not here for cheap thrills. The purpose of life is closeness to Hashem achieved through self-mastery. And like Yosef HaTzadik, in the end, we will never lose out. Whatever pleasure we renounce in pursuit of purity will one day be handed to us on a plate in a permitted way. Hashem ensures that those who do not grab will not lose out. He has plenty of permitted ways to deliver those pleasures. On the other hand, those who pursue forbidden pleasures hardly ever get to really enjoy them, and afterwards are plagued with remorse. Hashem's plans will come to be regardless of all of our little strategies. If a person sets out to indulge his forbidden animalistic fancies, the sun may shine brightly at first, but as he proceeds along the glittering wide open spaces of ruin road, he will encounter a lot more difficulties than he had bargained for, in the form of obstacles, disruptions, and disappointments. And what of the fellow who starts out in the opposite directions without a glance over his shoulder at the fun left behind, keeping to the restrictive path that leads only to where the Torah takes him? He gradually becomes aware that a goodly measure of the loveliest things in life has chanced to come his way without any effort on his part. The Vilna Gaon Zatzal testifies in Even Shilama chapter 2, part 10. All pleasures which the morally corrupt may obtain with effort and exertion through forbidden avenues are granted to the wholesome, clean living individuals in a permitted manner without any effort on their part. We lose nothing by choosing to keep our eyes clean and pure. Yosef HaTzadik married his Bashert Osnat Bat Potifera, which was his niece, that was Dinah's daughter. Together they raised a family of sons who, till the end of time, countless Jewish fathers and mothers blessed their own sons to emulate Ephraim and Manasseh, Simcha Elohim ke Ephraim v'chen Manasseh, each to become a tribe in his own right. They were grandchildren of Yaakov, but Kereuven v'Shimon yihiyu li. They got their own tribes. Why? Their fathers Shemirat, Enayim, and Shemirat HaBerit. And Yosef HaTzadik became the symbol of the one who remained unbowed and unconquerable. And this, leads itself to so many other things, and of course not easy, but these are the tactics. Baruch Adonai le'olam, amen ve'amen.